Hello, I'm Daniela. In today's video, I'm going to show how I make collage fodder using leftover paint and masking tape. Now you might be asking why you make your own collage fodder when there's lots of paper supplies available. Well, there are many reasons for this. When you make your own paper, you can tailor the color scheme to your needs or your preferences, so that's always fun. It's also enjoyable to make your own collage fodder. Whether you use papers you found, made, or just enhanced with inks and stains. You can also use paint and pencils as well. There's lots of variation. It's a very rewarding process. Another reason collage artists make their own fodder is this way they're not infringing on anyone's copyright. You don't want to necessarily use pre-made designs. They can be licensed and there can be issues that way. So you can avoid that altogether by creating your own elements. Now in today's video, I'm just going to show how I use some leftover paint that was dried on my silicone mat. That's one of my tools that I love to use when I'm painting. And I use masking tape. I'll show you my techniques for getting rid of the stickiness on the masking tape when I'm done, and how I use this in my work. I find it really enjoyable, and I hope you will too. So let's get started.
So I'm going to show you the technique that I use to make these masking tape pattern papers. And the beauty of it is it kind of cleans up your silicone mat from a previous project. So it's kind of a repurposing video as well to make your own tools and papers, but you use products that you normally wouldn't have used. Some of them are really beautiful, like these teeny little colors. I just love that color scheme. And you can see a lot of masking paper on the background. And there's others that are less filled up. And then it just comes with whatever colors are on your mat. So it's really totally unpredictable. So to do it, you'll need masking tape. And this is just the standard masking tape. It's a paper tape with a sticky backing. And it tears beautifully. So you'll use this. But I like to use the widest masking tape I can find. This is 1 inch thick. And this is 3 inches thick. If I could find larger, I'd use larger, but this is it for me. So let me show you how you start this technique. So here I have my silicone mat. This is just the mat that I've shown in other videos that I use when I'm painting. I can use it as a palette, but I tend to use it as the background to put my painting on top of, and then if any paint works its way off, I have this piece here. For this video though, I painted directly on the mat with whatever paint I had left over from various projects, and then I let it dry. And that's the key, is to let it dry. I used acrylic paint. It doesn't take very long for acrylic paint to dry, but still be patient. When you're waiting for it to dry, it seems to take forever. So the next thing you do is you take your masking tape and you just set it down wherever you want, and then you really want to burnish it. So this is me burnishing just that 1 inch masking tape. And here I have that 3 inch masking tape, and I just set it down and really burnish it with my hands. If you want, you can use a tool. You don't want to tear your tape, but you get really good adhesion with a burnisher or some kind of tool, a bone folder. Same thing with this little piece. And I'll do one more piece. Then after it's burnished, you can just pick up the edge and pull it off. You have all this interesting texture on your piece. If you're happy with the way it looks, you can remove anything on the side and just set your piece aside. And I really like that one. I think it looks like a piece of washi tape. And for this one, let's see what we have here. So that's really interesting. There's still a lot of stickiness to it. So just out of curiosity, I'll stick it down again and see what we have up here. And again, I'll go through all the procedures, burnishing it, and wherever it's sticky, it should pick up at least some of the paint. Again, you never really know. And you could keep doing this as much as you want to really fill up your tape. Set it down. And so that looks pretty good. As you can see the difference. There's a lot more masking tape showing on this one. and anywhere there's masking tape, it will still be sticky. So we're not done with it yet. I'll just burnish this piece on the bottom here, and when I'm happy with it, I'll show you the next step. So now I have my pieces of masking tape that have that acrylic paint stuck on it. To get rid of that stickiness that's there, I'm going to use some clear gesso. Just buy it like this. It's white, but it dries clear. If you don't have this, you can use some Mod Podge or some matte medium. And so this is how I use my acrylic matte as a palette. I just put my medium on it. And then instead of a brush, because I don't like using a brush with gesso, I have just a cosmetic sponge here. And I'm just going to slide and cover that tape with the gesso. I want to make sure I cover all of it because it's going to stop it from being sticky. Give the tape a little more body, and then when it dries, I'll be ready to use it in my work. So I'll cover all 3 of these pieces. Now whatever you use on top of the masking tape, whether it's gesso or Mod Podge, it will seal the tape and the paint that's on the tape together. So it's just another layer of stability for your piece. So I have it all covered. I'll let that dry, and then I'll come back and show you how it looks when it's completely dry. You can see it's a little cloudy right now. And this is how it looks when the gesso is dry. It's no longer cloudy. Now let me show you how I use this in my work. So here is one example of how I used that masking tape in my collage piece. This is for my art journal. And I did a short showing the entire process of creating this layout, this page here. But it looks just like pattern paper that I wanted to use in my work, or a little bit of texture. And it just adds another level of interest to your piece.
So that's just one method of creating collage fodder for my work. I like using leftover paint and masking tape. These are just supplies that I always have on hand. And the benefit of using leftover paint is I have it left over from a project, so chances are it's going to match my color scheme anyway. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe. And if you really like this channel and artistic expression, consider becoming a paid member of my channel, where I give insider information, videos for members only, and a whole library of materials that you can reference. But either way, I'm so glad you're here, whether you're watching these videos or as a member. Thank you for joining me today.